in everyone's brain nowadays, the most running question is, yeah, in nowadays, everyone's brain, the most trending or most running question is why Python is booming nowadays and why it is a booming programming language nowadays. So for that, I'll give you a very easy explanation. See guys, till now in the industry we'll be having more than 5,000 plus programming languages. Out of all, most of the languages are technology specific languages. It means if you learn C language, see here guys, if you learn C language, you can build your career towards testing. If you learn Java, you can build your career towards web development. If you learn Java, you can build your career towards web development. Like that, if you learn SQL, that is SQL, you can build your career towards data analytics. Data analytics. Till now, guys, whatever the languages we are having, all the languages are technology specific languages. Means if you learn one language, you can build your career towards one specific technology only. Whereas coming to the company's perspective, companies looking for the people, those who are familiar with the multiple technologies. Companies looking for the people those who are familiar with multiple technologies. Let's suppose if you want to learn multiple technologies, you need to learn multiple languages. If you want to learn multiple technologies, you need to learn multiple languages. Let's suppose you decided to learn C, Java, C++. Let's assume you decided to learn these three languages. So if you want to learn these three languages, initially you need to start with any one of these three languages. Let's suppose you started with C. While learning C, everything will going on fine. Yeah, you will learn the C. After this, you need to move to Java. So here, while switching from C to Java, you'll ready to forget C concept. Whereas while switching from this Java to C++, you'll definitely forget this entire C and ready to forget this Java also. Nowadays, in the industry, everyone facing same problem. That is, while switching from one technology to another technology, they are losing their accuracy on the previous technology. To protect that accuracy, we need a language which should be suitable for multiple technologies. That is Python. If you learn Python, here you can build your career towards more than 13 different technologies. With a single Python, you can build your career towards more than 13 different technologies. That is the advantage of Python. So here, that's why companies also nowadays looking for people those who are familiar with the Python. If the person familiar with the Python, so here with this same language, continuously you work on different technologies. So for different technologies, if you use same language, your accuracy on that specific language will be obviously increases. That's why nowadays everyone looking for the people those who are familiar with the Python. That is the major thing. So in another terms, it will be said as multi-purpose programming language. Multi-purpose programming language. So multi-purpose means, see here, we can use this language in a different technologies. Multi-purpose programming language. See guys, while entering into the industry, I'm familiar with C, Java and Python. After entering into the industry, I left C, Java, everything. I'm continuously working on Python only. With this Python only, I'm working on data analytics, I'm working on machine learning projects, I'm working on deep learning projects, natural language processing projects, few data science projects, few artificial intelligence projects, and even I'm working on automation also. Now I'm familiar with Python as well as I'm familiar with R language also. But for different technologies, I'm using Python only. So you can understand the intensity of Python. It's a multi-purpose programming language. So here with this language, you can build your career towards more than 13 different career paths. And it is not only the major reasons, we'll be having several lot of reasons. Those are, so out of all, another one is an open source programming language. See guys, till now for the data analytics, most of the companies using SAS tool. Whereas coming to that SAS tool, that is an licensed platform. You need to purchase a license. To purchase the license, you need to pay some money to the organization. Whereas same analytics we can do with the Python also. So to do same data analytics by using Python, we need not to pay anything to anyone. It's a free of cost platform. So that is the one more advantage of Python. That's why those who are working on data analytics, they are also switching towards Python. It is a one more major advantage of Python. It's an open source language. Anyone can use this platform for freely without paying anything to any organization. And coming to the next thing, it's a very high level programming language. Very high level programming language. See guys, basically programming languages are divided into two types. One is high level, second one is low level. Whereas coming to the deep categorization, programming languages are divided into four types. Low level, mid level, high level, very high level. See here, low level languages are machine level languages. Those are not understandable by human beings. Everything will be written in the form of binary format only. Whereas coming to the high level languages, those are also said as human friendly languages. These are like basic English only. Whereas coming to the very high level languages, these are very closer to human languages. So here guys, if you are familiar with the basic English, if you are familiar with the basic English, you can easily understand Python. So that is the one more advantage of Python. And in some more books, it would be said like here you can reduce the code length. Here you can reduce the code length. It means you can write a code in a less lines. So that is a one more advantage. And here it is also said as multi-paradigm programming language. Multi-paradigm programming. See, coming to the programming languages, these are divided into three types majorly. One is procedural oriented programming, second one is object oriented programming, and third one is a functional programming. So the best example for procedural oriented programming is C language. And the best example for OOPS is a Java. You're already familiar with these two languages. Whereas coming to the functional oriented programming, the best language is R language. Whereas coming to the R Python programming language, it supports all these three paradigms. It follows the POP, OOPS, as well as functional oriented programming. So whatever the paradigm you want to use, you can use that specific paradigm. So these are the few advantages of Python. It's a theory concept. Don't worry, guys. In a regular classes, we'll see everything practically. Initially, I'll explain little bit theory, and I'll try to match that theory with the practicality from scratch onwards. Like how to install programming platforms. That thing onwards, I'll start. That thing onwards, I'll explain everything in the course. You need not to worry about anything. Okay. And coming to the next thing, what are the different versions of Python? So coming to the different versions of Python, here we'll be having the Python versions will be evolved from 0.0 version only. Whereas coming to the major versions of Python, here we'll be having two series of versions. One is 2.x version, second one is Python 3.x version. See guys, coming to this Python 2.x version, initially it is developed for software development. So coming to this Python 2.x version, it is initially developed for software development. Whereas coming to this Python 3.x version, initially it is developed for I said in a reverse fashion. This 2.x version initially developed for hardware development, and this one is developed for software development. As days are passing, the Python organization guys
Sir,
updating.
sir,
Yeah,
sir,
tell me.
sorry for the disturbance. You
Yeah,
can
tell me.
admit Neha, sir.
Sorry.
Neha, Neha.
Yeah, Neeraj, can you please take care of that? Yeah, guys, if any trouble occurs to you, don't worry, guys. I'll forward you recorded session. I think meeting limit might be exited. Okay, exceeded. I think. Okay, don't worry, guys. I'll give you recorded session for this topic. You will get this video in YouTube. Okay. Yeah, Neeraj, everything is okay.
Yeah, the limit is exceeded, sir. So we'll be sending them the recording videos.
Okay, thank you. So don't worry, guys.
You just continue the today's session.
Recording. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Okay. So here guys, 3.x version, here it is developed for software development. As days are passing, those who are updating each and every library in Python, they are taking care of this Python 3.x version only. Nowadays, for the software development as well as hardware development, everyone using this Python 3.x version only. Why means it becomes an updated version, whereas it becomes an outdated version. So here If you want to kickstart your career towards Python, here it is a suggestible version. And whereas coming to the different Python programming platforms, coming to the Python programming platforms, here guys will be having more than 25 plus programming platforms. By including both offline as well as online platforms, we'll be having 25 plus programming platforms. Out of all, we'll be having few best platforms. I'll explain you those platforms in the course. Here initially we'll be having IDLE, stands for Integrated Development Learning Environment, which is developed by Python organization. Here it is a very lightweighted application, and here by using this platform, you can very comfortably learn all the basics of Python. And here coming to the next thing, here we'll be having PyCharm platform. So if you want to build your career towards web development, here it is a very convenient and comfortable platform. And here it is a platform which is developed by Team JetBrains. The organization Team JetBrains developed a Python programming platform called as PyCharm, and it is a very convenient platform for web development. Whereas coming to this IDLE, it's a very lightweighted application which is developed by Python organization. Those who are updating each and every library in Python, those who are taking care of Python official website, they developed a very lightweighted application called as IDLE. To learn all the basics of Python, here it is a very convenient and very comfortable platform. Coming to the next thing, here we'll be having Anaconda Platform. Coming to this Anaconda Platform, here it is a platform which is especially designed for data science guys. If you want to build your career towards data science, here it is a very convenient and very comfortable platform. It is a platform which is developed by Anaconda organization, and it is an integrated platform. It's an integrated platform. In this platform, we'll be having a lot of tools and a lot of applications. I'll explain you guys how to install these platforms and how to use these platforms. And these three are the very good and very convenient offline programming platforms. Whereas coming to the recent version of Anaconda, this PyCharm also integrated into this Anaconda platform only. So that we need not to install this PyCharm platform externally again. We can use that platform in this Anaconda even. Okay, so these are very convenient offline platforms. Coming to the online platform for the data science, we'll be having very good online platform which is Google Collaboratory. Google Collaboratory is a virtual programming platform which is developed by Team Google. So here Google guys developed a very convenient programming platform for data science, that is Google Collaboratory, and it is an online platform. See guys, if you are not having your laptop, or else if you are having less configured laptop, at the time if you want to work on very high-end data science project, at the time we need to have GPU in our computers, but most of our computers won't have GPU. To work with the GPU, here the Google guys providing us virtual 12 GB of GPU. We can use that virtual GPU without paying anything to Google organization. Here it is a very convenient and very helpful platform for data science. In this course, most of the things I'll explain with this Google Collaboratory platform only. And similarly, I'll explain you a few things in an Anaconda platform. As well as while creating the modules, I'll explain you how to use this IDLE platform even. Okay, don't worry guys, coming to the programming platforms, there won't be a difference in syntaxes. So here the usage of platforms will be different, but coding will be same in all the platforms. You need not to worry about that thing. So guys, these are the different programming platforms present in a, these are the few best platforms present for Python programming. And coming to the basic Python course guys, it is divided into two parts. So coming to the basic Python, it's divided into two parts. First one is said as core Python, and coming to the next part, it is said as advanced Python. Second part is said as advanced Python. So coming to this core Python, it is also said as syntax oriented Python. Here it is also said as syntax oriented Python. Here you will learn all the basics of Python. Here you will learn all the basics of Python, like what are the rules you need to define while writing some program, and how to trace an existed project, how to understand any project, how to start write your own project, what are the rules you need to follow while writing some script. Such kind of all the basics will be covered in core Python. Here we'll be having concepts like data structures, like loops concept, and after that we'll be having conditional statements, loop transfer statements. Then next we'll be having functions concept. Like that we'll be having a lot of concepts. All the basics will be covered in the core Python. See here, this core Python will be ends with a concept called modules. So the guys, the major advantage of Python is it is a modular programming language. So here, as I already told you, if you learn Python, you can build your career towards more than 13 different technologies. If you want to build your career towards any specific technology, you need to learn a specific modules. Let's suppose if you want to build your career towards networking, you should be familiar with the FTP module, HTML module, JSON module. Like that, you should be familiar with a few modules. Whereas, if you want to build your career towards data science, you should be familiar with the numerical Python module, Pandas module, Matplotlib module, Seaborn module, scikit-learn module. Like that, whatever the technology it might be, to build your career towards any specific technology, you need to learn the modules related to that specific technology. So here, further guys, will be having in the Python will be having million plus modules as of now. Okay. So to make you understand what it will be the backend code present at any module, for that I'll explain you how to create this module actually. How to create one module on your own. Also here I'll show you guys how to implement the basic calculator by using modules in a Python. So here, if you understand what will be the backend, so how to create a module so that you can easily understand the modules, like what will be the code present at any module, you can easily understand. So guys, coming to the next thing, here I'll take you into the advanced Python. This advanced Python also said as technology oriented Python. This advanced Python also said as technology oriented Python. So here we'll be having, we can work with the more than 13 different technologies if you learn Python. So I won't introduce you to all 13 different technologies. I'll introduce you to the few technologies to get to give more familiarity with the Python. I'll introduce you to the few technologies. Those are, so initially I'll introduce you to the networking domain. I'll introduce you to the networking domain. So coming to this networking domain, I'll explain you SMTP module, stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol module. By using this SMTP module, how to connect with a Gmail server. How to connect with the Gmail server and how to send a mail ID to any specific person. So here also I'll explain you how to generate a random password and how to send that randomly generated password to any mail ID. I'll explain you that stuff by taking help of SMTP module. After that, I'll introduce you to the web designing part. So coming to the web designing part, here I'll explain you TK-inter module guys. So here TK-inter is a module which is corresponding to the GUI. So here TK-inter is a module which is used to create frames. See guys, nowadays we'll be having a lot of social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, like that we'll be having a lot of social media platforms. See guys, whenever you want to interact with your specific account, what you need to do, you need to enter your credentials like your mail ID or your login ID and password, and finally you need to click on sign in or sign up button. So whenever you want to log in into your specific database, you need to get a box to enter your credentials. Such kind of box are said as frames. How to create such kind of frames by using Python, I'll explain you that stuff by taking help of TK-inter module. After this, after finishing this TK-inter module, see here next what I'll do is I'll take you into the my specialization. I'll explain you the few modules related to the data science or R course. So those are, initially I'll start with the numerical Python module. So here numerical Python is a module. Here the sole purpose of this numerical Python module is to perform huge amount of computations in a faster manner. See guys, all the machine learning algorithms are mathematical equations only. Whereas if you are working on some real-time project, what you need to do, you need to grab the data from different website or different documents. So whenever you want to grab the data from different documents, on that you need to apply mathematical equations. To apply mathematical equations very easily on the data, here we'll be having numerical Python module. The sole purpose of this module will be to perform mathematical computations, guys. Not only that thing, in the image processing also, whatever the images you captured in your mobile, those will be present in the form of NumPy arrays only. So I'll explain you that thing practically. Like what happens if you apply some filtering operation on the image. So at the back end, everything will be takes place with the NumPy arrays only. I'll explain you that stuff very clearly by taking help of computer vision package. That is an artificial intelligence package. While explaining that concept, I'll explain you that stuff. After that, you will be having Pandas module, guys. So coming to the Pandas module, the sole purpose of this Pandas module is, let's suppose if you are working on some data analytics project or machine learning project, you need to grab the data from different website, or you need to take a data from some CSV file or some Excel sheet to read the data which is present in a different location into your project. Simple, guys. Different files data. If you want to read a different files data into your project, let's suppose if you have data in a HTML file, to read the data in a project, at the time we need to take help of this Pandas module. I'll explain you this module very briefly. How to import this module, what are the different functions present in this module, and how to use this module. I'll explain that stuff very briefly. After that, here we'll be having mathematical plotting library module. The sole purpose of this mathematical plotting library module is, see guys, let's suppose you are from ECE background. You are not familiar with the healthcare domain. Let's suppose you got a first project corresponding to the healthcare domain. Let's suppose you might got a project like heart disease prediction. At that time, what we need to do? So you need to understand the data first. Before performing any analytics, you need to understand the data. But we are belongs to ECE, that is a healthcare data. We won't understand the data clearly by looking at the values present on the data set. At the time, what we need to do is, we need to look at the data in a form of graphical manner. To understand data in a better way, we need to see the data in a graphical fashion. To look or to observe the data in the form of graphical fashion, here we'll be having two modules, guys. One is Matplotlib, another one is a Seaborn module. I'll explain you these two modules very briefly. See guys, if you understood these four modules, you can understand 20% of data science on your own. A complete data pre-processing will be depends on these four modules only. In advanced Python, I'll explain you few additional concepts also. Those are OOPS concepts. After that, we'll be having a file handling concept. After that, we'll be having exception handling concept. And here we'll be having a regular expressions module. Like that, I'll explain you a lot of additional concepts. Don't worry. And at the end of this advanced Python, if you want to get a familiarity with the real-time scenarios, like how Google Translator works, how to convert text in the form of speech, like the next how to create a calendar, any year's calendar by using Python program. For that, I'll explain you few mini projects. Don't worry about that. I'll explain you few mini projects, like how Google Translator works. For that, I'll explain you GTTS module, and how to convert text in the form of speech. That for that purpose, I'll explain you the working of Python text to speech module. Don't worry about that. That is about additional content of this course. And coming to this entire Python course, guys, it will take a 45 days to the normal people. But for you guys, I'll make you clear everything within a 30 days. Okay. And don't worry, guys, it's based on your college timings only. And based on your comfort only, I'll continue the classes. Okay. If you have exams kind of things, at the time I'll give you. Don't worry about that. So it's about the Python course, guys. And coming to the next, what is machine learning actually? What is machine learning actually? And what is the importance of machine learning nowadays? See here, guys. Nowadays, we are producing huge amount of data. To process huge amount of data, human intelligence is not sufficient. Even traditional programming we won't use for the real-time scenarios. Let's suppose I want to write a code to detect a chair. So it's a nightmare only. We won't write a code to detect a chair. Let's suppose, though I am an expert programmer, I started writing a detecting a chair. Let's suppose while writing a code to detect a chair, I consider a chair which is having 4 legs, 2 hands, and 1 back bench. Let us see. So here you train a machine. You write a hands-on code for that chair. Let's suppose for the machine, next time if you give a new input, like a chair which is having single strip, at that time what happens? Your traditional programming will be fails. So coming to the traditional programming, most of the traditional programming things are rule based ones. Those follows complete rules. Whereas coming to the real-time scenarios, it won't follow the specific patterns always. Okay, at the time, rule-based learning is not applicable. To grab the context from a huge amount of data which we are producing nowadays, we need to take help of machine. So for that concept, this machine learning is evolved. So here what we'll do is we'll give a human capability to the machine. So based on the past data, machine will learn some patterns, and based on that it will give a new prediction. Okay, so coming to this machine learning, it's divided into three different things, guys. So basically it is divided into three parts. First one is an supervised learning. See guys, I'll give overall view only for coming to today's session. First one is an supervised learning, and coming to the next thing, here it is unsupervised learning. Coming to the last thing, it is a reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning. Okay, these are the three different types of machine learning. See, coming to the supervised learning, here, based on, see, if you have in your data set, if you have inputs as well as outputs, that is said as supervised learning. Inputs as well as output means you will be having input as well as output with you. It's like a training small kid. Like for newly born baby, we'll train like he's your father, he's your mother, he's your brother. Like that, we'll train to the that newly born kid, right? Here also same thing. For the machine, initially we specify it is a pen, it is mobile, it is back. Like that, we'll specify some parameters to the machine. From the things, whatever the things you specify to the machine, it will learn the patterns. So that in the future, if you say something, it will, if you show something to the machine, it will give output. Simple, guys. It's like training a small kid only. So for the small kid, we'll say he's your father, he's your mother, he's your daughter, sorry, he's your brother, like that, right? So in the future, while saying that, we'll ask who is he, who is he, who is he, like that we'll ask. So finally, by looking at the person, that kid will say some answer. So in the coming to the machine learning, supervised learning also same thing. For the machine, initially we'll specify past data. From the past data, it will learn the patterns, so that in the future, if you give any new input, it will predict the outcome for that new input. That's the thing, guys. Coming to the supervised learning also, here it is also said as here will be having labeled data. Here will be having labeled data. Labeled data means we'll be having inputs as well as output. So coming to the supervised learning also, guys, it is divided into two parts. First one is a regression. Second one is a classification. See, guys, based on the output, the supervised learning is divided into two parts. First one is a regression. Second one is a classification. Coming to the regression, if your output is a continuous value, if your output is a continuous value, such kind of problems are said as regression problems. So let's suppose, guys, I'm working on a project like I want to predict a newly hired employee salary. So based on his experience and based on the technologies he is familiar with, I need to predict the employee salary. See, guys, coming to the salary, it is a continuous value. Like he might get a 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 1 lakh, it might be. So here, if your output is a continuous value, such kind of problems are said as regression problem. Let's suppose if you want to predict a house price. To predict a house price, what we need to do? So we need to consider inputs like number of bedrooms, number of washrooms, balcony area, city of the house, and building age. Like that, we'll consider this kind of parameters. These are said as features or inputs. See, guys, in the machine learning terminology, inputs are nothing but features. Output is nothing but response vector. So based on the output, machine learning algorithms are, supervised learning algorithms are divided into two types. One is regression based algorithm, second one are classification based algorithm. If your output is a continuous value, that is a regression problem. If your output is an yes or no kind of answer, or pass or fail kind of answer, or 0 or 1 kind of answers, if you have output like this, such kind of problems are said as classification problems. So guys, if you are working on some disease prediction, like whether the person have heart disease or not, let's suppose if you are working on corona prediction, based on the symptoms you need to predict whether the person have corona or not. So here, there we are predicting output like 0 or 1. Such kind of problems are said as classification problems. Okay, it is about regression and classification. So coming to this regression and classification, we'll see more than around 10 plus projects coming to this supervised learning. And guys, coming to this unsupervised learning, here we'll be having data with us. We won't have any output. We'll have only input with us. So based on this input, we need to find the patterns. We need to segregate same kind of objects into different groups. To make you understand this example, guys, I'll take example of Google Photos. In the Google Photos, what happens? In the Google Photos, what happens? See here, if you capture some photos in your mobile, if you capture some photos in your mobile, and if you upload all these photos into your Google Photos, so based on the facial features of the person, all those photos will be goes to the specific folder. All the similar patterns having faces will be goes to the specific folder. Those folders are said as clusters. Here for the mobile, we are not specifying he is Mahesh, he is Neeraj, he is Yakub. We are not specifying like that. So based on the facial patterns of the person, machine only recognizing same kind of objects, that is said as clusters. So here guys, I'll explain you one real-time project, that is a market basket analysis, like how to segregate the different kinds of customers, those who are visiting a shopping mall. I'll explain that project, and here even I'll give you one assignment project also. And guys, coming to each and every project, every algorithm, I made an assignment. Those are very funny and very easy assignments. To build your confidence only, I designed such assignments. And guys, don't be afraid. We belongs to EC background. We are, whether we learn this thing or not, yes, you can easily learn this course. For you guys, I made a easy template. So I have a 7-step template which I prepared for you guys. If you follow those 7-step template, you can work on any data science project on your own in the future even. Okay, that is about, it is about unsupervised learning. So most of the clustering problems, grouping same kind of objects into same folder, that is said as clustering problem. We'll discuss that clustering in this unsupervised learning. Coming to this reinforcement learning, it is also said as experience based learning. It is also said as experience based learning. So here robot trainings comes under this reinforcement learning. This reinforcement learning, guys, completely comes under artificial intelligence. It completely comes under artificial intelligence. We won't cover this stuff in the course, though I'll give you familiarity with this thing. See guys, you might be familiar with the robot movie of Rajnikant. On that movie, what happens? Initially, Rajnikant will train the robot. So finally, that Rajnikant acquired more, sorry, that robot acquired more knowledge than Rajnikant, and it tries to destroy that Rajnikant itself. So that is the problem with the reinforcement learning. Here what happens is, machines will learn from the environment. Day by day, it will learn from the environment. If it is a good step, if it is an advantage, it will update that step into its algorithm. So that day by day, it will update on its own, and it finally it becomes robust. So that even in the future, human being also won't compete with the machine. That's why nowadays robots are not launching in the industry. So this complete things comes under artificial intelligence is. And coming to the next thing, we'll be having natural language processing. So coming to this natural language processing, it's a hugely using technology in the nowadays scenarios. Like based on, see, the best real-time scenarios of this natural language processing is, so if you write some review, let's suppose if you write some review to the some people, let's suppose you wrote a review on me in a Google, what happens? So based on the text which you wrote there, it will goes to the either it is a positive or negative, or it is a neutral response. So we are not segregating, we are not writing a good, bad, such kind of things. Though based on the words which you are using on the text, it will goes to that specific blog. Not only that thing, guys. So if you give some review to the restaurant, by default, based on your review, it will consider positive or negative. Not only that thing, nowadays we can recognize the emotion from the text also. Previously, a few days back, I worked on one project that is based on the text information. We need to recognize the emotion of the person, whether the person is happy, sad, or angry. Like that, we need to recognize that thing. Not only that thing, guys, if you observe a lot of search engines like Amazon Prime, AHA, Netflix, there you can see the different blogs. If you consider Amazon Prime as the best example, there we might have blogs like crime movies, horror movies, thriller movies. Like that, you might be having different blogs. How it is classifying? Is it watching the movie? No, right? It won't watch movie. See, if you observe any movie, there you can find the movie description. So based on the words, based on the text which you use on the description, it will goes to the specific folder. So that is comes under natural language processing, guys. Coming to the natural language processing, here we'll see how to clean the text, and after cleaning the text, how to apply different machine learning or deep learning technologies on the text, and how to grab the context from the text. That everything comes under natural language processing. It's completely deals with the text mining, guys. How to clean the text and how to process different operations on the text. That is comes under a natural language processing. It's a hugely using thing nowadays. Okay. And coming to the next thing, like movie recommendations also, based on the person's taste and preferences, recommending movies and YouTube recommendation. At the lot of things at the back end will be using natural language processing, guys. So after that, we'll be having deep learning. So coming to this deep learning, so deep learning, we need to process complex amount of data. See guys, in 1 kg of human DNA, we can store this entire world's information. See, in 1 kg of human brain, sorry, human DNA, we can store this entire world's information. Then why can't we give human capability to the machine? Then why can't we give human capability to the machine? With that concept, this deep learning is evolved. The entire motivation of this deep learning is we need to give human capability to the machine so that we can process huge amount of complex data. So coming to this machine learning, here we can perform predictive analysis only. From the structured data only, we can perform any predictions. Whereas coming to this deep learning, we can process complex data also. So the entire motto of this thing will be, we need to create an artificial neural network. So here we'll be having neural networks concept. So here we'll be having artificial neural networks concept, like how human brain works. Like that, we need to design a system in the machine that is said as artificial neural networks. By using this artificial neural networks, we can process the text. We can perform text processing. We can perform text processing. After that, we'll be having convolutional neural networks, guys. So coming to this artificial neural networks, how human brain sends the information, that thing. So by using this artificial neural networks, guys, we can process only one dimensional information. Whereas if you want to process image information, like here, how human brain recognize the images. So by looking at one person, how we can say he is Neeraj only, how we can say he is Nagaraju only. Like that, if you want to recognize a specific person present in an image, here we'll take help of this convolutional neural networks, like how human architecture works. Like that, we designed a specific architecture called as convolutional neural networks. By using these convolutional neural networks, we can process 2D information. So in a simple words, we can say for the image classification problems or image recognition kind of problems, we'll use this convolutional neural networks, guys. Okay, for the image processing kind of things, we'll use convolutional neural networks mostly. After that, guys, we'll be having recurrent neural networks, like how human brain understand context from the videos, how human brain process the image video information. For that, we'll be having recurrent neural networks. By using this recurrent neural networks, we can process 3-dimensional information also. So here to process the video information. So the best use cases of this video processing is, let's suppose, capturing number plate of the vehicle, those who are not wearing the helmet. Such kind of task comes under this recurrent neural networks. So coming to this recurrent neural networks, guys, I'll explain the project which is related to the stock market. How to predict the stock market price of tomorrow and day after tomorrow, such kind of things. Sorry, I'll explain you that stuff by taking help of this recurrent neural network. And coming to this CNN also, I'll explain you more than 2+ projects. Coming to this artificial neural networks also, I'll explain you more than 2+ projects. And at the end of the course, guys, I'll introduce you to the artificial intelligence. Coming to this artificial intelligence, I'll introduce you to the Opencv. Stands for Open Computer Vision Package. It is a completely image processing package. So by using this package, so like we need to detect whether the person is smiling or laughing, or whether based on his facial expression, we need to recognize the emotion of the person. Or else we need to recognize the person, those who are not wearing helmet, and we need to recognize the pedestrians, those who are walking on the road. To perform all this kind of tasks, we need to perform image processing by using artificial intelligence. Here itself, guys, I'll explain you how to apply different filters on the images. So that is, it is completely related to the image processing, guys, and it is related to the pure EC core. After this, guys, here coming to the last, what is data science actually? We discussed this entire stuff. What is data science actually, and what is the data scientist role present in a real-time scenario? See, guys, coming to the real-time scenario. So let's suppose you hired as a data scientist in one company, and simply that company will throw some data on you. They'll give you some data, and they simply say, find the insights on which parameters I need to focus to obtain more profits. They'll say simply like that. What you need to do is you need to clean that raw data first. Whatever the data provided to you, you need to clean that raw data, and you need to convert that raw data in the form of structured model. Entire, see, in the real-time scenario, entire project, so 80% of project depends on data pre-processing only. That is data cleaning only. All those data cleaning will be take care by data scientist. Data scientist will take care of cleaning the data, perform different statistical analysis on the data, and finding the insights from the data. Finally, what machine learning engineer do is, see here, simply he'll apply different machine learning algorithms based on the problem statement. If it is a classification problem, he will apply classification algorithms. If it is a regression problem, he will apply a regression algorithms. And if it is a clustering problem, he will apply clustering algorithms. After applying different algorithms, he'll suggest the best algorithm, which is giving best accuracy in a faster time. So finally, deployer will deploy the algorithm for the any mobile application or any web application. It's a real-time scenario, guys. So here, coming to the real-time scenario, entire statistical analysis or data cleaning will be take care of data scientist. And guys, in this course, we'll cover more than 20 plus projects. At the end of the course, I'll explain you 3 major projects also. And finally, at the end of the course, you need to implement hands-on code on your own. So either you can choose your own assignment, or I'll provide the assignment. I'll suggest you few assignments so that you'll get a real-time exposure. So to give more exposure only, I need to make you work on one project. Don't worry if you're not familiar with anything. I'll make you clear everything. Everything I'll make clear. So if you are unable to ask in a meeting, you can ask personally also. I'll respond to you. Don't worry about that. And coming to the projects, you can work on your own, or else you can work in a group. That depends on your project depth as well as your interest as well. And coming to the next thing, in the course itself, I'll cover more than 25 plus projects. Don't worry about that. Don't think too much. 25 plus projects, I'll explain you very intuitive and very funny way only. Okay. So thank you guys. With this, I'm concluding for today, and see you in the regular session. Yeah, Neeraj, you can stop recording now. And now if anyone have any doubts, you can ask me now.